Good evening and welcome to the Book Nook. I am Kat and I'm here with Jessica Hammond, the new author of her book, Acting for the Empath. So, I just have a few questions for you, written by a few of your fans that have actually been following your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's just jump right in. If I understand correctly, this book is actually an instructional for acting, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. The whole idea is that it introduces a new method for acting. So instead of using some of the older, more traditional ways, it implies that using emotional intelligence, you can refine your technique.
Okay, that's really interesting. Did you always plan on writing this book, or was it something you developed later on in your career?
This was an idea that I've had for quite some time. I've always loved the concept of it, and I actually came up with it in high school, but it wasn't until I started my private practice that I actually sat down and wrote it.
What does your practice specialize in then?
We specialize in drama therapy.
Okay.
So drama therapy is a type of therapy that uses theater and the performing arts to help people the same way that regular therapy would. So coping with their past, trauma, personality disorders, anything like that.
Wow, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
So what led you to starting your practice?
Well, it took a lot of internships. So I started interning with both a theater company so I could get an understanding of the theatrical arts themselves, and with a counseling center. And by working there for a couple years, I landed a job after getting my license at a private practice that wasn't my own. And after working there for a couple more years, I finally started my own practice.
Wow, that's a lot of legwork, a lot of mix and
Yes.
matching. So throughout that whole process, were there any skills or advice you received that helped you build your practice?
Yeah, one of my main personal skills is actually adaptability, which has really come in handy.
Yeah.
The most important thing in life is to know that sometimes things don't work out your way, and when stuff goes wrong, you have to be able to roll with the punches, take it as it comes, and have a plan in place. So
Absolutely.
I'm really good at that type of thing. And any advice, I would say there was this one man that I actually interviewed while I was in college when I was thinking about taking on this career.
Yeah.
His name was Dwight Bain, and he actually was a mental health counselor who worked with my mother, so that's kind of how I knew him.
Yeah.
And he always told me to make sure you're always working hard and making great connections with people, because the better connections you have, the further you can go. And he was absolutely right.
Yeah. All right, that's awesome. So some readers of ours that have been following your career are curious about the path of education you took to lead you to your private practice and eventually your book.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting story. So I started out with an A degree in theater. I actually went to Valencia College in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
And I always knew I wanted to do theater, so I started with that first. And as I was sort of exploring the field, I decided I wanted to go into psychology as well. So once I transferred to UCF, I got both a master's and a bachelor's degree in psychology. And then I went from there to get my license to practice.
Wow, that's impressive. If you don't mind me asking, schooling this day and age can be pretty expensive. How much did an education like of that caliber cost?
It was pretty extensive. This cost about $80,000 to $90,000.
Wow. Did you receive any scholarships or student aid that helped you with your loans?
Yeah, I actually did. I had a Bright Future scholarship that I got from the state, and that helped about 75% of it.
Yeah.
And once I got into my bachelor's and master's program, I started taking out student loans. But the rest of it I paid for on my own.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
So while you were in school, were there any particular resources that you used and would recommend to students that are trying to succeed now?
Just one, actually, that really, really helped me. I know my biggest problem when I was in college was just finding a nice, quiet place where I could sit down and get my work done. And the best place for that is really the library. You go there, it's nice, it's quiet, and there's tons of resources all around you, so if you have any questions, there's always something to help. So go to the library.
Wow, something as simple as that. That's a great little tip. So my last question is, why theater psychology? Is there any particular reason you chose this really unique field? It seems so outlandish.
Yes, actually. Theater has been my passion for many years. I've always loved it. It's been a massive part of my life, so I knew I wanted to do something that involved theater itself. But I also have a strong passion for helping people. And I know that through psychology and through therapy, we have an opportunity to really help people who need it.
Absolutely.
So I decided to kind of merge these two things together and create something that would work for me, and it has. It's been amazing, and I'm really happy with where it ended up.
Wow, that's so incredible. So just listening to you talk about your career, I want to read this book, and I'm not even an actor. So check out the book, Acting for the Empath. Jessica Hammond, new author. Check out her practice. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Yes, absolutely.
I wish you all the luck in your world with your book.
Thank you.